Demolition Man begins with the Hollywood sign burning. That was 3 years in the future from when this film came out, picturing the continued rise of crime, an attitude that was commonly present in works for the 15 or so years before this film came out, that once the future came, it was going to basically be a burning anarchy. You know, it'll forever be weird for me if anyone were transported to the future-sounding year of 2020 without any context. They would look at that and say, yeah, this is what all our movies said it was going to be. We knew it. The future is screwed. And we would have to say, no, look, this is the year that has an asterisk after it because everything weird happened all at once. Anyway, it's no surprise then that LA is presented as looking practically post-apocalyptic in 1996. Like Terminator robots should be marching through the place. For battle, not for protesting or stuff. We're opposed to the commercialization of Cyber Monday. Well, on board that helicopter is John Spartan, a cop, going after Simon Phoenix, who's a big-time criminal. At the moment, he's got 34 people held hostage that he's taken off a city bus, as if the mass transit wasn't bad enough already. To show the degree of the threat, they're heading in there with an LAPD Chinook helicopter, which I'm fairly certain wasn't part of U.S. law enforcement, because it's, kind of logistics that's usually more than is called for. I may be wrong, but I don't think I am on that one. Then again, the shit that is given to local law enforcement these days, stuff that used to be military equipment, that makes a Chinook look like a sound investment. I mean, unless there's a strong chance local drug dealers are deploying anti-vehicle mines. This isn't a criticism of the film, rather to note that it's so bad that, we need one of these things in order to deal with this bullshit. So Spartan drops on a line and starts taking out bad guys. It is an action movie. It's kind of his thing. Phoenix has a bunch of drums of fuel ready for this situation and proceeds to taunt Spartan, as is his purpose for being.
Nobody comes down here. Postmen figured it out. Policemen figured it out. But the goddamn bus drivers just wouldn't listen.
Don't make me tap the sign.
It's important to remember about Wesley Snipes that probably his breakout role was in Major League, a comedy film.
Shit! I've been cut already?
Then he did the action thing in Passenger 57 and some stuff for Spike Lee. But point is, while films like Blade might be what Snipes is more famous for today, his early career paints a man who can easily navigate comedy, drama, and physicality. It's no wonder he was in such demand. Because Simon Phoenix has an almost Joker-like persona, plus badassery, Snipes has really heavy lifting to do as a performer, and he does it masterfully. One gets the sense that he's really enjoying himself. So he sets the gasoline on fire because it ain't there for show, and Spartan finally defeats him and brings him out while the building collapses. The reason that Spartan is called the Demolition Man is that things tend to end like this. Well, Spartan gets chewed out for this. He went in rogue and the bosses are steamed at him. But he insists the hostages aren't here.
Over here! The bodies everywhere! There must be 20 or 30.
No, they're not here. They're over there. Well, Spartan is found guilty of manslaughter by dropping a building on someone and is sentenced to 70 years in cryo suspension, during which a device will subliminally work to rehabilitate him to not do it again. So he's put in a tank. It's filled with goop. Now the suppository. The little capsule inside does the magic, and next thing you know, it's 2032. The assistant warden who put Spartan in is now the warden of the place. Hey, there's some job security we'd all like. Warden Smithers gets a call from Lieutenant Huxley to ask how things are, as per regulations, and he says, it's just peachy, seeing as how he's running a prison containing nothing but ice cubes. Huxley finds one of the problems with Utopia: it's boring. Machines tag signs and the machines deal with it. X1478 is sticking it to the man. The real work is recon. Edward Friendly is planning a food heist tonight, which is not typical of Utopias. It puts me more in mind of what happened to the people on the Lion Turtles back in that Legend of Korra flashback. So, how are things in the station?
Mellow greetings, Lenina Huxley.
Maybe the aliens have taken over. It would explain some things. Well, Huxley's wish for some action has been noticed by her boss.
Do you really long for chaos and disharmony? Your fascination with the vulgar 20th century seems to be affecting your better judgment.
Especially George Carlin's 7 Dirty Words.
Sanctimonious asshole.
Lenina Huxley, you are fined 1/2 credit for a sotto voce violation of the verbal morality statute.
Told you. Yeah, it's the perfect solution for the city's economic woes, isn't it? A gigantic swear jar. She's known for her fascination with the last century, as Garcia notes. The film is packed with, oh, it's them moments. There's Benjamin Bratt from Law and Order. We have Rob Schneider, who at this time was most famous for being the copy room guy on Saturday Night Live. We got the warden from Shawshank Redemption, and Dennis Leary before he became a fireman. Plus the title character from My Dinner with Andre. I mean, the man who rules the world is...
Si tacuises, philosophus mensis. What does that mean? If you'd kept your mouth shut, we might have thought you were clever.
And the one who comes from the past to challenge him is...
Bird.
So we find out Simon Phoenix is up for parole today, and as expected, he begins by fucking with the warden, by translating everything he says into Spanish. Then he uses the passcode for the restraints, freeing himself to kick the shit out of everyone present. He also takes the warden's eye for the retinal scanners, and presumably as a snack. Well, a call comes in automatically for a 187, the famous LA police code for homicide, but not famous to these people who don't have homicides, or rap music, or Samuel L. Jackson movies where he plays Russian roulette. It's reported as a murder-death-kill, and as the rest all cope, Huxley gets on with actual policing, looking at who was unfrozen for the parole hearing and finding Simon Phoenix. Well, the old desk cop here knows him. Well, not personally. He was the one who was piloting that Chinook that dropped Spartan onto that building. So he's seen firsthand what Phoenix could do before the city turned into political correctness gone boring. So yeah, this is extraordinarily bad. Bringing him out now is like bringing Bruce Banner to the Museum of Extra Fragile Artifacts on International Kick in the Groin Day. Well, Simon Phoenix was placed under before everyone had chips implanted in their hands for carrying out financial transactions, but are mostly used to track people. However, when Phoenix kills someone and takes their car, Huxley tracks the stolen vehicle, and several units are then sent there to apprehend him. Everyone's convinced it's all over but the mopping up.
His vehicle has been code fixed.
Well, let's not get carried away here. Phoenix needs to access a computer, but this one is busy.
I just don't feel like there's anything special about me.
You are an incredibly sensitive man who inspires joy feelings in all those around you.
Thanks, ChatGPT. That means a lot. Phoenix takes over, surprised that he somehow knows computer hacking, and finds that Edgar Friendly guy's file.
Don't you have someone to kill? Someone to kill? Someone.
Weird, normally the voices in my head that tell me the kill have an Irish accent. He's busy trying to find where to get guns, which normally in Los Angeles requires traveling 10 feet in any direction, but times have changed. So while he's letting his fingers do the walking, the cops show up and ask the size scan what to do with a guy who's on a murder spree. Its advice is to state commands in a firm tone. Well, that only elicits sarcasm. As well it should.
Approach and repeat ultimatum in an even firmer tone of voice. Add the words, or else.
Oh, we're at DEFCON 3 now. After zapping one of the cops with anti-graffiti probes, he then begins easily kicking the shit out of them. Easily. He's practically Sauron swinging his mace at the start of Fellowship of the Ring. He then takes one of their tasers on a stick and uses it to take out the cameras in the area. Then for an encore...
It's pure capacitance gel.
Seems there's some safety issues related to this gel. We check in on Dr. Cocteau, the de facto ruler of this place, who is speaking about the problem of Edward Friendly and his merry men.
Men and women who have left the comfort of our society only to spew hostility at the very bosom that they have relinquished.
Bosom. The aide scampers in to fill the big cheese on what's happening with Phoenix, and the captain is just aghast at the idea that even a criminal can be so savage. Well, he's given the authority to do whatever is necessary to apprehend Phoenix, but he hasn't a clue. It's like asking regular cops to go arrest Darth Vader. Huxley asks how Phoenix was ever caught in the first place, which leads the old cop to bring up John Spartan.
How can you justify destroying a $7 million mini-mall to rescue a girl whose ransom was only $25,000? Fuck you, lady!
Who the hell kidnaps a kid for a $25,000 ransom? Whoever it is, you don't need to blow up a mini-mall to thwart them. They'd probably fall for a claim that he's delivering Chinese food, even if he's still in his uniform. Huxley thinks that thawing Spartan out, reinstating him, could solve this. And as the old cop notes, when you have old-school criminals, you need old-school law enforcement to apprehend them. So they thaw him out.
Detective, I am Lieutenant Lenina Huxley. The year's 2032.
Half-Life 3 should be coming out any day now.